You're gonna go with the flow.
Hey, Chris, I have papers for you too,
Okay.
so don't leave before I get to you. Hey, okay, so when I printed these out, which were last night, okay, this is on July the 1st, treasurer. I think,
That's in the minutes, but I don't think we've got, are they? Do we have the minutes approved in our folder?
no, I have to print them myself.
I don't even want to approve it, because we're gonna. I'm having Chris redo them. I'm having this secretary do them. It will be 1 minutes.
Okay.
So I'll find it. It's all I'll change.
Okay.
You know, that's right.
You what?
I noticed the change, but I put it in there. More correct.
Yeah, there were just a couple of things I was like, I'm confused on who is talking. So,
I can do that.
okay, but that's fine.
Okay.
I'm good.
You're good? Okay.
It's not too far from my where it should be really.
You gotta hang on. Laura. You're taping, that's taping, we got sound, we got video. We ready to go? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and call the town of Lynnville Town Council August 5th meeting to order. Yeah, moment stand. Moment silence, followed by pledge of allegiance.
That's 6:04.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That's 6:04. Ryan Cook, Mike Mitchell, Michael May, Chris Wisher.
Here.
Lori Stokas.
Yeah.
Rachel Titzer.
Present.
Doris Horn.
Present.
Dave Goldenberg. You have quorum. Approval of minutes. We've had a bunch tabled. I don't know how really, has everybody had an opportunity to read the May 6th, September 3rd, July 1st minutes? And if so, do you feel comfortable enough to move those forward?
I'm fine with May 6th, September 3rd, July 1st. I have questions on.
Yeah, we got to the other ones yet.
Okay.
Sorry, which ones did you say?
Rachel, make a motion
Okay.
to approve the minutes of May 6th, September 3rd, and July 1st, and those are all.
No, July 1st.
No, July 1st?
No.
Okay. May 6th and September 3rd.
I make that motion.
Okay, anything but July.
Okay, so May 6th and September 3rd,
Yes, I'll
you'll second
Yeah.
those.
I'll second those.
Those minutes have been approved.
Mhm.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now I'm gonna hold and table the July 1st, July 15th, and July 24th minutes until we can have an opportunity to sit down and actually read them and verify them. I have not had that opportunity yet. I think I'm hearing that your July, you've got a little issues with those too, so.
Well, I wasn't here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those are going to be tabled. The July 16th, 2024 You know, I can't remember what happened 10 minutes ago, much less than a year and a half ago. If someone wants to make a motion to approve them as done, I'm kind of sort of thinking I'm going to abstain from it because I don't know.
I haven't actually read them because I printed them and thought I printed the wrong year. Because it was 2024 and I shredded them. So,
Okay.
I will need to reprint them and read them.
So we,
Is that-
we will table those also for the next one, and we may have a discussion with legal to see how to handle these things. And later on in the meeting, I've got on the agenda to talk about minutes. Approval of current bills, July 16th, 2025 through August 5th, 2025. You all had an opportunity to review these, or do you need more time to look through them?
I would make a motion to approve the bills from July 16th, 2025 to August 5th, 2025, pending review.
Review of the vouchers.
Yes. Since we haven't seen those.
What you're going to do, approve this,
Okay.
and then we're gonna
Yeah,
review
with
those
them.
after
Okay.
and go through them, just make sure we don't have any questions on
Okay.
them. Would you second that motion?
I'll-
And George will second that, all in favor?
I,
The treasury report, general operating, $48,331, community center, $4,608.61. MVH, $660,048.85. Fire department, $46,100.53. Lit, $85,515.69. Park, $167,698.52. Public safety, $126,007. Utilities operating, a negative $6,164.45. Public improvements, $43,758.03. Opioid, $3,629.20. 1882 venue, a negative $363.56. The Tecumseh Trail, $103,956.98. Budget status report, we've got that in here. Is there anything we need to talk about the budget status report? It's just that we submitted it into the agency, same with the project in Main Street. Okay, Brian Cook's not here, Mike Mitchell's not here. Mike May, did he come in?
No.
No. Going on to residential business. We've got an introduction of ordinance 2025-4.
Sent that. Sent that to you along with 2025-5, which is next after this on the agenda.
And to that, I just need to read the ordinance number.
Yeah,
25-4. It's an ordinance amending the rates and charges for waterworks utility. And at this point, we do not have to read the whole thing. I'll go through.
at this point, you need a motion. I would recommend a motion to introduce the ordinance. And then that'll start the process and we'll have a public hearing. I provided a timetable for that. I think that's all Steve walk in. He's here. I don't, there'll be a public hearing to go in detail, and I know he has reports for you to review about those rates, but this just kickstarts
This is what we have to do legally
to start.
everything and get our utilities under control. So I would entertain a motion to proceed with ordinance number 2025-4.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made by Doris and seconded by Rachel. All in favor? Aye. Passed. Introduction of ordinance 2025-5. That is an ordinance amending the rates and charges for sewer or for sewer works utility. So again, this is the process to start, we need to have a motion moving forward with this ordinance number 2025-5.
So moved.
Made by Doris, seconded by
Second.
Rachel. All in favor?
Aye.
And we will
You're gonna provide us with the
provide,
time frames.
It's in, I printed that out.
should have a copy of that. And if you have any questions about that, we can always adjust, but I've put in there what the date of the public hearing would be, and that's okay, then we will get our notices put together and get that moving.
Wastewater adjustments. Fulfills. 564 North Main Street. $13.10.
Here they are. In this,
You go.
um,
You want them separate? Together.
116.
Okay, so let me read the other one. It's $85.17 at 115 West First Street, $208 and a penny at 311 East First Street. All three of those are for pool fills. We got the documentation in place and been approved and signed off on. This is our standard. The way I understand it's our standard way of allowing them at this point until we do meters or do something else. I would be entertaining a motion to approve all three.
I'll make the motion to approve, $13.10 at 564 North Main Street. $85.17 at 116 West First Street, and $208.01 at 301 East First Street.
311 East First Street.
Yes.
I will second that.
Motion's been made, seconded, made by Doris, seconded by Rachel. All in favor? Consent to change a lease property form. Approved by town manager. New forms must be taken to area planning, blah, 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 blah. I guess there, and I think we're gonna have some discussion on that. Let me
That's,
to that.
that's Obi's.
Hmm.
It's right there, all the plans are right there. That was for the Obi's here to talk about.
Yeah.
Yes. He has his drawings and his measurements and all that stuff.
Okay. So this is what we need. Brian's approved it.
Yeah.
So we need to approve it or deny it. And then it would need to be taken to area plan if that's the process.
Yes.
And we do have a question I think we're gonna discuss later unless he's Bill Dove here.
Yeah.
Hey, Bill. Bill Dove wants to talk to us, so why don't we entertain him right now? So we don't go too far ahead and have to come back.
That's not one of those though.
Is it not?
No.
No.
Okay, well then never mind. Sorry, Bill. We'll get to you in a little bit.
Huh?
We'll get to you in a minute or two. I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself then. So we're wanting to add a porch at 410 Deer Lane.
It's no something.
Porch on the front and then an addition on the back.
But there's instruction, nice drawing.
I did that myself. I was gonna say, don't pay too much attention. I did that in 4 minutes. It's quite good.
I've seen the chickens crack. And that's being put onto one of our lease properties. Basically, all we're gonna do is give him permission to move forward and go down to
Area
Horry
plan.
County
Mhm.
and see if they will pass it. So Anybody have any objections to that? If not, I will entertain a motion to move this forward.
I make a motion to approve the sports edition on 410 Deer Lane, subject to area planning approval.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes. And then he
This
will.
one is 433 State Road.
Take a copy of it. You give him a copy to take down there.
Yes, he'll take a copy of that to Eric, to Molly.
And then this is 433 State Road 68. And
Now that's under. I think I had a note. Is that really Roland Powers or is that
No.
a different person?
this is Kenna.
Okay.
That's a different person.
I did not find, I guess when I looked through, and I'm just asking a question now, when I looked through the leases, guess I didn't see one that said for Kenneth Powers on that address. You know, that list of
Oh.
leases that you had.
Okay, I didn't cross-reference.
So I'm kind of wondering. I will entertain a motion to accept it pending we got him as a lease.
We don't have a diagram. And so this is the one that is already already set. And, I can tell you it will not meet area planning where it's currently setting. Set on railroad ties with gravel floor. I don't know if he plans on moving it to that, if he's describing where it's currently sitting at, but there's no diagram to know where it's going at on the lot. So I don't,
Ryan has approved it. And he's approved it just because of where he's saying he's setting it, that there's no utilities in the way at this point.
but I
He's
don't
not
approve it where it's sitting at.
No.
And area planning will not approve it where it's sitting at either.
Okay, well, then I would entertain a motion to deny. Moving forward on 433 West
No.
Highway 68. Parcel pit. Do I hear a motion?
Make that motion?
I'll second that.
Motion's been made, and seconded, that has been denied. All in favor? Aye.
I did try to contact him and he did not respond back. So
There we go. Did we come up on a decision to remove the tree on Oak Dam Road?
I contacted 5 companies. We got one bid that we've already approved.
Yeah.
I was ready to move forward with that.
And someone was going to give you another bid and they never came to.
Mm-mm.
Then I.
No, I think, actually, I think, Tom Barkley said he was gonna give a
Yeah,
bid.
that's fine.
That's
I-
fine,
I
yeah.
just don't say-
No, I have not heard.
Haven't either.
Okay, well,
So we just got
then
one
we,
bid.
and we tried to get bids. So we've done that. We've already approved that
Yeah,
up to that amount, correct?
so, yes,
I
we
would
just,
say just go ahead and contact them
okay,
and move forward with that.
Yeah. let's
Okay.
get that over with.
And is that you, Lori, who called?
I don't know who.
I'll call him. He give it to
Okay.
me.
She calls, then that's been done and it's going to Whitler.
Joe Whitledge,
Whitledge.
Whitledge tree removal, yeah.
We'll have them out there as soon as we get them out there. Permission to retire cap lines at 103 Possum with no structures.
Yes, so there's no structure there. It's a separate. They took the meter off, the center point took the meter off, but since the park, it's owned by the town, they have to cap it off, they have to have permission from town. And we can do it, if you guys do it the same time that they do the annex.
That's mine. If I could interject.
Can you say your name out loud?
Bill Schmidt. Yeah, when they put my daughter's place in there, they just
took the meter and they plugged it, or they shut it off at the valve, and they left it laying there on the ground right there underneath the corner of the trailer. And that's where it sits now.
You have a problem with that?
A little bit.
Okay, it doesn't matter. I think we have no problem going ahead and,
And also,
I have no problem going ahead and moving forward with giving them permission to do that. Anybody else?
It's tapped off.
okay, also, Brian told me I needed to cap off the sewer line, which I did. He wanted a hard cap glued on it. I did that. I contacted him twice. I sent him a picture of it. So in case I needed to inspect it before I buried it. And he has not gotten back with me. I texted him twice last week Sunday and last week Monday,
Okay.
and I've not heard from him. And also my daughter got another water bill and there's nothing there. So she doesn't really want to pay a water bill when there's nothing there.
That's 103 Possum also. That's
It's all
the
the time,
bill,
yeah.
that's the billing address on the water bill.
Yes.
We're not providing water there.
No, he's capped off the water. He wants you guys to make a motion for him to cap off the sewer.
I'd entertain a motion to cap off the sewer. And then also, we'll do that separate. Make sure that we refund the bill. If we
I'm
have
at the
to.
motion behind it. It's not tap off the sewer.
I'll second that.
We're still a month behind. So
Okay.
for the last month, he won't, his final bill will be this month
Okay, so the bill that she just got,
Was from last,
from last month.
so that would have to be paid.
that has to be paid, that should be
Okay.
final, close to it, and then there'll be a deposit.
Take that out of the deposit?
Yep,
'Cause
that's-
deposit's
yeah.
actually mine.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's how we usually do it.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
All in favor of capping off the wastewater line, finish this up? Aye,
Aye.
that passed. So we got your gas line approved to be done, your wastewater line approved to be done. I will try to contact Brian and see if I can get him to get back to you,
I mean,
so he
I
can
don't-
look at whatever he
I don't know
needs
if
to
he
look
came
at.
out to look at it or the guy that works with him.
Yeah.
He actually came out there originally, and then he come back and told me, because I had a temporary cap on it. Then I sent to Brian, I said, he wanted me to put a permanent cap. I said, well, can I cut it off here? I took pictures, showed where I wanted it, and
The
cap it
right
there. And he said,
areas.
yes, but leave it open in case it needs, because he had to inspect it. So, and I have
Okay.
not heard back from him since.
He was waiting on this.
Okay, so now that we passed it, Brian will go out and do that. Okay, we'll double check it all and try to make sure. No guarantees. They would try. Okay. New owner of State Road 68 Apartments, Paul Gogol. Are you here?
I'm Paul. Me and my son actually own them together at Noble Properties. We kind of have an issue with your new policy on turning the water bills over to us and charging us $100 an apartment to, as a deposit. We feel like it's gonna create a lot of paperwork for us to bill everybody for their water bills there. And, I do have my property manager, Greg Riffelman here.
We didn't. What do you,
We're a little bit confused. Hang on a second. The bills,
have always been in the renter's name.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be, correct? That's what I'm understanding.
I don't know.
The bills would always go into your name.
The bills would go into my name.
Right, and you
Okay.
collect and come to the town. We done that in an ordinance many years ago because what was happening is people were renting and then the tenants would leave and then we were stuck with the bill and trying to collect the money.
I can tell you down there, that's not the way it's been. And even just recently, because when they've moved out, we've had them come to the board and complain about having to pay part of 1 month's bill when another renter moved in and we were collecting that renter's bill, that renter's money as well. Those apartments down there have not been structured like that.
They're the only ones that still haven't been. All the rest have been.
Hmm?
The hers are the only ones that have, or sorry, The ones they just bought were the only ones that haven't. Everybody else has been moved to the property owner, the bills in the property owner's name. That's the only one that hasn't been done.
That was the way that Mr. Bruner had set up.
Yep.
Ordinance many years
Is that the
ago.
ordinance?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Bruner set it up that way.
It's an ordinance. We need to do it that way.
But I'm just saying, it never has been. That was the reason that was throwing me off, because we've had the renters here complaining about having to pay the final bill. So were you aware of that when you purchased the property?
No, we just got noticed recently that,
What
go ahead.
What happened was we had one tenant, they've been there long term,
Excuse me, your name?
Greg Riffleman.
He's a property manager.
We just had a tenant move, so it's turnover in that apartment. So when he came up here he thought to set up the utilities, that's when he was told about how I guess this change's been made a long time ago, but it's never been, I guess, implemented down there.
They were doing it as,
You're phasing it in.
yes, they were phasing it in. So as somebody moved out, when somebody moved in, they were phasing it in, and that's been going on for a couple of years, but nobody ever moved out there.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's a good sign, but, this is the only place I do property management I've seen a system like this. So I don't know, it does seem like it would create a paperwork nightmare, because like, I guess you're going to bill the gold and then we have to collect it from the tenant. Is that? Make sure.
Some of some of our renters, they just give their renters the bill and collect it from them. Some of them add it into their rent. So we have it with our renters, we have it both ways, depending on which renter you go to, or
We
which,
should be collecting a different amount of rent every month.
some of them do that, yeah.
That or you just charge them a flat rate for water and you include it in their rent.
Mhm.
You just have to make sure you cover it.
It sounds like we phased it in on you guys, but I can tell you, I can name 3 people that have lived there recently, short term, and paid their own utility bills.
But if we got an ordinance saying
I know.
what we're gonna do, that's what we need
But I
to
can
do.
see why they are blindsided at the same time. So, I mean, it sucks. But,
The town was struck many years ago with hundreds of dollars of water bills, and that they would leave. And then it was like, who pays it? The taxpayers, or, how do we go about getting it? So that's when the ordinance was drawn up.
and I guess I'm blindsided as well, because we haven't been consistent in doing the policy, obviously.
Well, I think we are consistent,
Right.
because people are not
How to get there. I'm new to this too.
If it's been in for years, I'm telling you, David, we haven't been consistent, because I know people who have lived there short term, 6, 9 months, and their bills have been in their name. That's why I'm saying about being consistent.
Right.
If this ordinance has been, obviously it has been on the books longer than I've been on the board.
It's been there for a long time.
Okay, so we're gonna need to make it consistent. The consistent way is to move it on as we're doing. And that may be to take everybody that's there now and switch them over to Doc tomorrow into their names. If that's the ordinance.
I don't know. I have not looked at that.
That's what we have to do.
I can
We'll
look
have
at
to
that.
review that and see.
Let me look at what your ordinances are.
It was my understanding that it was going to be, the rest of them would be implemented around the first of the year or something like that. Is that correct or not?
It sounds like to me, if it's an ordinance, we need to implement them now. Not the first of the year, as soon as we can, to get everybody working on the same wavelength there. So you can make your business decisions knowing what's going on also. You don't want that variance in there. We will have our town attorney take a look at it. I don't see any way that the town will change in where they're going forward with that. I know it's causing you some paperwork. It's killing us with paperwork on the other side. Certainly, if we have to take people to court and try to track them down to get their monies, because we have no connection when they move in and move out. So we'll take it under advice.
I have a suggestion on one thing that I don't know if you can modify your ordinance, but what I've seen in other places that I do property management is they can still bill the tenant and they can still pay it, but at the end of the day, if the tenant doesn't pay, then the property owner would be responsible for it. To me, that would make more sense than trying to bill them.
Yeah, that we have to discuss with.
What did
legal.
he say? I was looking at something she was showing me on.
Keep it in,
Change the law.
have the owner, Gogol, is that your group?
Yeah,
Whatever.
Google property.
Have them enter into an agreement that if a tenant leaves and there's an outstanding payment still due, that they will cover that payment.
Okay.
Mhm.
So we'll look into that, see if we can do that.
Yeah, let me look.
I have one more question on how much of a deposit do you collect from a tenant or?
$1
property
million
owner?
for commercial people.
That's fine. All the tenant will give it to you. Go for it.
Now, tenants are different. $100.
Okay.
Awesome.
2023, and I think it was July.
We will take a look at it. If you can give your name and number to Lori sometime. So we've got that contact information. We'll get back with you as soon as we come to a clarification.
You should have that, I think.
Okay. Okay, now, Bill Dove, discussion concerning replacement of a rotted porch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, Doris. Oh, long time no see. Nice to see you, Bill.
Yeah, my name's Bill Dove. And I got some complaints and found wondering nice about it. But my porch was rotted on the back of my trailer. At the Denver lot, insurance company said that's a safety hazard. So I got Greg Quackenbush and Robert Halls, got Greg Dunn Construction. They agreed to put one on, thought all the lumber and everything. He started on it. This gal come Saturday morning, 8:15, got me out of bed, was in the bed. And I got a throat operation 3 weeks ago, so ain't talk that good, but anyhow, I told her how come. She said I need the town board's permission and also tell Warwick County how big it's gonna be, the construction, what lumber I'm gonna use. And I told her, I said, this is part of my home dwelling. If I had a fire in the front and we were in the back bedroom, we'd have to jump out that back den door about 4 foot. Somebody's gonna get hurt. And another thing, with these leases, there's a lot wrong in there that I disagree with. But I got a letter here from Peabody. I ain't got bullshit around the bush, where I took Catherine Wilson to court over some of this bullshit in 2007.
Let me remind you, this is all being taped.
Yeah, it's
If
all
you
right.
don't mind watching the language a little bit.
Oh, I'm not swearing or nothing. I'm trying to be nice. But anyhow, I'd had him long. He came, well, I didn't know Judge Long was coming with him. And he done the speaking. Were you there?
I think so.
You should have it in the minutes.
What do we have?
Let's just forget all this. I
right.
don't want to know what happened. What are you here tonight discussing about this porch? What do you want done?
Why do I need a permit and them to come out and measure it when it's part of my house? That's my complaint.
First of all, I'd like to clarify, I am the person that stopped and talked to
And
him.
I didn't know who it was.
It was me. That was me that you spoke to that day. Okay. I first spoke with your contractor,
Yeah,
and my concern was he was in the active stages of building this porch, and I knew you had not come in front of the board,
no.
and therefore I knew you hadn't been to the county either. and I was concerned the porch would be constructed, it wouldn't pass county, and that, or you would have to have a variance for whatever size, because I don't know what size it is, and that would cost you additional money. That was the reason that I stopped, and I asked you to come to the board. Now, you told me you didn't have to come to the board, that you didn't have to get permission. That was part of your house, and I just tried to explain that it is part. I mean, we just approved another porch
Yeah, I told
earlier.
you, we can take it to court. But all I'm saying is, I talked to Ida Long yesterday. Well, Tony was there, we're good friends. And I was telling him what's going on. He said, were you putting up a separate structure on the ground? Or a carport? Build a new shed or what? I said, no, I'm putting a new porch on the back door where I can come out safety. He said, that's all bullshit. He said, you're building onto your home. He said, you're not building anything separate off of the land. So if we want to go that way, I can be a nice guy.
We
can go that way.
can, but that's not the way you want to go, because Warwick County is who you're going to be suing.
Yeah.
And that's their plans, and we can't help you move forward if you're going to go that route.
The same way with these leases.
The leases are something that either you can sign or you can
Right.
choose not to sign. If you do not like the lease agreements,
But
you can walk away.
In 1999, I got that place under the grandfather's lease. And my attorney, Dave Robinson, got a copy of it, and I think it's noted in Warwick County. Like Judge Long said, this place was turned over in 1964 to be, for $1, to be all I considered a park. But he told Catherine, he said, what you done wrong? He said, you wanted to separate lots, put water, sewer, electric, everything down there, let people build homes, trailers, they had old trailers, campers, and tents in there. He said, now you made a community. You put water, sewer, stop signs up, state police patrol it, Warwick patrolled it. So he said, it isn't actually part of Lynnville Park no more, because it was all supposed to be camping area. So who's right there, him or you?
I don't believe he's right, but that'd be something someone else is
No,
gonna
he
have to
told
look at.
Bill Bruner,
No, I'm not gonna call Bill Bruner. I'm not gonna call,
I know, you
the
don't
other
have to,
lawyers.
but he told Bill Bruner, and
I'm telling you, you've got a lease agreement. If you don't like the lease agreement, don't sign it. If you want to take it to court, you can take it
Yeah,
to court. That's
I-
your option.
I signed it, and I got a receipt for it.
Okay, and then within that, it tells you that any structures being put onto that property has to come past
That's
the
not
council.
a structure, it's part of
It
the
is a
house.
structure.
No, it isn't.
It is a structure.
It is a structure. It is
And,
legally a structure.
Any addition onto your house requires a building permit from Warwick County. I mean, you would need to go to Warwick County and get a permission for a building permit. You need to get a building permit. They check and make sure that they do a site improvement permit and make sure that that porch addition fits within the setbacks and other requirements of the lot. And then they'll issue a building permit for the porch. Before you go do that, as the lessor of the property, the town needs to approve what you're gonna do so that Warwick County knows it's okay by the lessor.
They won't
And
issue
so I
the
think you
permit
could-
without
you-
our approval first.
You could ask the town for approval and then go deal with the county. If the town approves the porch, you show what you're gonna build, and if it's, are you building the porch that's similar to what the rotted porch was as far as size?
Smaller, 10 by 10.
Smaller,
It
so you
was-
shouldn't have an issue,
It
but
was
it's,
12 by 16.
okay, if it's smaller, you shouldn't have an issue, but it still would
But
need, to
It
be
rotted
checked.
out.
Huh?
It rotted out,
Yeah,
I couldn't use it,
right, but the new porch, if it's small, is the new porch smaller or bigger?
smaller.
Then you shouldn't have a problem, but it still needs to be checked by the county as an addition to the, I don't think you'll, I mean, based on what you're saying, I don't think you'll have any problems. I just think you have to go check the boxes. And that's all I think that she was saying when she talked to you, was just making sure that you didn't get too far ahead of yourself
Something.
and something happened and then you had to redo it. So just making, she has no knowledge about it other than that, you know, maybe it's not been approved yet, so be careful. That's, I think, what that,
Well,
the point
I've
of that
done my
was.
new porch myself on the front 3 years ago, and nothing was said then.
Yeah, well, it's not,
Just
there's not-
because it wasn't said.
yeah,
then
there's not eyes on everything. But so I think it just needs to get the right approvals and I think you're probably gonna be okay, but that's what was said.
And another thing in this lease, I don't feel like arguing, ain't no mood, but it says this lease should be drawn up, if you read the first page. The lease shall be drawn up between the leaser and the leasing. The leasing don't have any say. You guys have all the say. You don't get in with the leases and have an agreement together. You guys make up your own rules and ordinance, and we don't have nothing to say, but in the lease it says it's between the leaser and the leasing.
Well, it is,
Yeah.
but it's
it
proposed
never
by the
happened.
lessee and if you want, and, or the lessor, and as the lessee, if you want to agree to that, you can sign it. And if you don't want to agree to that, you don't sign it. But that's,
Well, that's not a.
once you sign it, it is when you sign it.
Well, yeah, if you sign it,
Right.
then you agree.
Correct.
But if you don't sign it, then they want to cancel you. I've been down there
Correct.
over 25 years. Never had any problems. Doris was my best friend and she still is, regardless of this bullshit that goes on. But there's a lot of stuff in here that's unagreeable. Like the trees, they come and marked them 5, 6 years ago, took pictures of them, because the trees aren't the leasee's responsibility. It's the people that owns the ground, which is the town of Lynnville.
No,
Depends on
that's
what-
not
depends on what
the
the
way it
lease,
is either.
depends on what the lease says, I
Very
suppose.
correct.
I don't think,
You are incorrect.
if you say so.
Thank you. You know, again, it's up to you. If you don't like the way the lease is, you can either try to negotiate it differently, which is not going to happen, or you can choose to walk away from it. That's the agreement.
Well, I just turned 80 years old. I've been down there 25 years.
I understand.
And
Bill, I've been here for 52 years now.
Yeah, I know.
And I put a new porch on several years ago. And because we did not belong to a planning and BZA back in the 70s, I had to go through all the paperwork and get the permits and everything to put a porch on, just to replace a porch that I've had for 50 years. You know, that's just part of the game.
If you got issues with that, that's Warwick County and not the town.
And all you have to do, Bill, is just go down to the planning commission and they won't
They'll
have a
walk you
problem
through it.
because your porch is smaller and you're just replacing something that's a hazard for you to walk on. It is dangerous for you to walk on it.
And there's a consent to change the lease property form that we can help you fill out, because it would be what you would take to the county.
I think it's all money. And you may be the new president.
We do not get any
Right.
money. We do not get any money for the permits. That all goes to Warwick
No.
County. So
And
again,
my
if you got an issue, it's with Warwick County.
My lot was always 68. I got the plaque down there 68. Now it suddenly changed to 67.
I don't know.
I
But
Look-
can't tell you.
got her
We
fully
can look
bricked
into it.
with their lot numbers. I was 67 all the
The
time.
rock number.
The one.
That-
Or he talks
that's
about
the
pages,
number.
yeah, those old
We don't
numbers.
even use
We don't
those
use
anymore.
those,
We don't
no.
even
We
use
don't use them anymore, but
those. That's a moot point also. Okay, so if you want to go forward, the best advice is that you have the town help you fill out a form that you then take to Warwick County and follow their rules and regulations.
And it's on the second floor of the old courthouse,
I don't even know the old courthouse.
in Boonville.
Across the street from the new.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Second floor, and they've got an elevator.
That I use all the time. You go down, take the elevator and takes it up to the floor.
Well, I talked to, Tony and.
And that is your right to do.
And I get back to you, but I think it's wrong. No.
Yeah. We appreciate your concerns. We can talk to your attorneys and see which way you want to go. If you want to move forward with that on that lot, this is the way it's going to have to be done. If they got a different opinion, they can contact our town attorney.
And another thing, I'm 100% disabled. I'll file grievance against that if you wanna screw me. The problem here is,
You can,
I'm not the bad one.
it's your right to file a grievance on anything that you want to do.
I know it. But
So
your
don't be
problem
threatening.
is, I'm under the grandfather lease yet, where you can't raise my lease to 10% a year. There's 4 of us in the valley yet. That's the 2 Lyndon Smiths, Eric and Joe. That was just here and suing me.
Yeah, you've
Under
been
the
there a long
first
time.
lease ever
Your rent,
coming up.
your rent is pretty low relative to some of the
That's
newer
right.
ones, yes.
Because
So,
I'm the grandfather.
so I'm
It couldn't be
say,
changed.
you're pretty good shape.
99 years.
You let your attorneys know. They can contact me if they have any issues. I'd be happy to talk to them and maybe we can clear things up. But I think it's a pretty straightforward process to get your porch approved.
You got a card?
I don't have a card with me. I can,
Well, you know Tony and
Tony,
son,
I do, and they know me. Chris,
I don't
my
know.
name is Chris Wisher.
I don't know if you know Dave Robinson.
I do know Dave.
So he's my power of attorney. He got control over everything.
Okay.
I'm by myself. No family down here except the woman I live with. And he got control of everything.
Okay. But let them know. They know who I am. They know where I am.
Uh,
Chris Wisher. Chris Wisher. Wisher.
okay.
You just think I wish I had a different attorney or something like that.
Or you can call town hall and
Tony
ask
knows.
for the town attorney's name and number and they will provide that to you.
Okay.
And then it takes like a few minutes, Bill, just go down there to the second floor, they'll help you.
That's like Greg. He hits the roots in there. Instead of digging underneath them, he took his chainsaw, cut down in the dirt. Now I stopped the night pitch and I owe him $138 for a chainsaw. I said, you done it. Nobody pays for my tools and I break it when I'm working somebody's car. So he's pissed off on me.
Well, don't get everybody pissed off at you, Bill.
Oh, I'm used to it.
Just smile and be happy.
I said I was gonna wear that shirt that says, if you don't like my shit, no, if you don't like my attitude, dial 1-800 shit.
There you go.
But I didn't want to wear
Okay. Well,
I've
thank you, Bill.
seen that shirt, Bill.
Thank you, Bill, for letting us know your concerns.
it. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Bill.
Old business.
You too.
Now, when I see you at the dollar store, we give each other a hug.
Okay.
But I ain't seen you for a while.
I know, I try to stay out of trouble.
And me.
You're fine.
I said, there's a lot going on in that valley that this town don't know about drugs and stuff. Which you used to have me watch Hay Valley, and I give it up. But it's none of my business what you do as long as it ain't me.
You do me a favor,
Yeah.
do something with that truck sitting out there that doesn't have a
Yeah.
license plate on it.
Robert's getting me a tire, and I want to back it up to my brush pile. I used to take it up to the dump up over past the gate. They always let me dump down there where they push it down.
We want that entryway, the walkways going through there, we want it to look nice, so if you would do that, I would.
Well, that's why I was doing that to my place.
Okay.
I wish you had known. I said, I had 7 operations the last 5 years. And I told you, I said, I get feeling better. I was gonna do that type boards until that underpinning got shit off the side, put underpinning on. And they say I need a permit for that. So I don't know.
Okay, well, again, thank you. We need to move on.
Take care.
Park, trail lights, there's a feasibility study contract that we signed, I think, last week. That's going to be pushed on. I don't know. Is there anything else new to that that you want to talk about? No?
Nope.
Okay. Town strategic plan. I'm wondering, we still haven't got anything moving on it. Do we need to form a
Well,
committee?
There's a email from Aaron that he just sent this afternoon
Okay.
that actually discusses the trail lighting and town strategic. So he's wanting to meet with us.
Okay. so
He just sent it this afternoon.
We'll go ahead and move on that as we get it. The venue, we have the new gutter estimates. We tabled that, not wanting to spend money at the time. We've also got the floor restoration, which we've got 2 estimates on. And I think we approved that to move forward if we wanted to, but we haven't necessarily said yes yet. We're still waiting on the actual hard copy,
It
which
came
you got
today.
and I saw.
Yeah, it came today.
So does the board want to, or the council still want to hold off on new gutters at this point? Or do we want to move forward on them?
I'm fine with it if we have some funds in public improvement.
We have funds in public improvement for,
Let's see.
What's the gutter?
$3,000 or
Do we have enough money?
It's 28, it was 27 something.
Do we have $3,000?
I mean, there's money,
Can we cover it?
we can cover it right now, but we still need to transfer that money from the bond that
I-
came out of
I
it.
understand that part of it. But we want to move ahead on the gutters. I would entertain a motion to do so, and if we do that, then I will call them up and get that moving.
You know what, fall coming, we probably ought to go ahead and start that, and then anything else we should hold off until we get this money moved with the bond and stuff.
Okay.
To make sure we got everything, we got money.
Gutters and, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead.
Right now, the gutters.
Gutters,
We need to
okay.
Here's the gutters.
move forward with, what was that, Two Brothers or something like that?
I'll make a motion to move ahead with the gutters for the, let's see.
For the
Then have a-
1882 venue,
1882, I didn't see.
Not to-
an amount.
not to exceed, what was it?
It was, Duncan said 3,000 unless you want a little
Not
cushion
to
there.
exceed over 4,000,
Not to exceed 4,000, based on the bids that we received.
based on the bid received.
Okay, I can handle that. Do I hear a second? We got a second. First and second, all been approved. Say yay, yay. Floor restoration, we got the second bill. We're ready to move forward. Do you want to move forward with that, or do you want to hold on that?
Oh, no, I want to move forward.
Then I will entertain a motion from you or from someone. to
I
move
make a
forward
motion
To
to,
that vendor.
yes, approve the estimate for $4,400 to, sorry,
Hardwood flooring by Jake
Yeah.
King
King.
Gray.
Thank you, Lori.
We got a motion.
I'll second.
You'll second that, all in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, I should have spoken. Do you want to make that 5,000 just for the cushion up to?
We'll issue to them for what he's done.
Yeah,
And if there's a change order, we'll address that
Right.
later.
I think we're good.
Request for donations for 2025 to come see prom.
In the past, we've done gift certificates from the park, like a camping, the annual pass camping weekend, and
Yeah.
2 kayaking.
Isn't it, wow, is it probably for 2026 they're asking? I'll make a motion to, donate, like we've always done before, for the comes to prom.
Have you
Which we-
received, I'll second that.
So
I have a question.
just so I can say out loud.
Yeah.
Say that, yeah.
I
One
think it's a
annual,
weekend of camping and 4 hours of kayak times 2.
weekend camping.
Any further discussion?
Do
All
you,
in favor?
Aye.
no annual?
No
I don't think we normally do the annual on that one.
Yeah.
We
because
did
it's
last
wrong,
year. That,
because
I don't
they're-
think we did
yeah.
before, but okay, so I'll do 2 hour kayak, 2 4 hour.
Informational only, 2025 annual state house report. I guess that's in there somewhere.
I put it in a binder for anybody who wants to ever read it. This is all the bills and laws that passed since in July. From, I think these are state house, so
Influent flow meter estimates.
that was from, it's in there, it's, there's 3 estimates from, some are from Brian, some are from Jacob. Um, or, sorry, not Jacob, well, Jacob too, but, Marcus Jolly. And the one from McKean, which is, I think it was the last one. Yeah, it's the last one that's in there. Was the least amount. And that's AC and Jacob doing the work. The flow meter is what was, IDEM. We got dinged from IDEM for not having.
Did we have a recommendation coming from Brian?
Yeah, the McKean.
Brian is recommending that we go to McKean, who fortunately appears to be the low bid also. For being low and best bid by our superintendent. I would entertain a motion to move forward.
I make a motion to move forward.
I'll second.
Any discussion? I don't have any discussion. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So a motion's been made by Rachel, seconded by Doris, to move forward with McKean LLC for $9,990 as per their agreement. Water improvement project memo. Preparation for budgets. What was the wastewater improvement memo?
That was one that you already talked about.
We did, and that's one we did last week or something. Okay,
Mhm.
I got it in there. and I need to get back out of that. Car wash. Nobody from the car wash is here. I don't know what's going on with that anymore. I'm throwing my hands up in the air. I think the town has approved Theron, the owner, to purchase a certain type of unit. I'd asked last week, has that been ordered? Where are we with that? I have not gotten a response back from the owner. You're looking like maybe you
I-
know something.
I have what they sent, and the drawings and the
It's all been- it's
schematics
all
and
been
stuff.
okay. So it's up to the owner now to
That's all I have.
order the parts. And I haven't heard that he's made any steps towards
I haven't seen
ordering.
anything since the texts that were out, that were down.
So I
a
guess
month or so ago.
I guess I'm at the point now that if we want to make a motion to cut the water off after so many days, or have the attorney send them a letter saying they now have 10 days or 15 days, I would like to proceed with that.
Yeah, I wanted to. I'm fine with sending a letter. I need to refresh on exactly what was approved and what it needs to do and how long it would take him to do it, but.
You kind
And
of,
I don't know about shutting the water off
we need to,
because of it, but I think there may be other things we can do, but we definitely need to, I don't mind communicating with him and
take care of this
seeing
back
if we
in
can.
February.
I
They were
remember.
waiting for drier seasons. Well, it wasn't dry anyway, so that didn't hurt us any. But now the communication just dropped, and I don't want this to go to next January.
Right. I mean, I can.
Okay, does the council give me permission to direct Chris to go ahead and either to the owner?
What would the letter say?
It would say you've got X amount of time to bring this under.
Yeah, I would probably say, I'd like him to contact me within so many days with this plan, or else we'll take further legal act, whatever I determine that we can do.
What if we
But-
put that, if he doesn't show up at the next meeting, then we can check the water off within 30 days.
I can ask him to come to the next meeting. Yeah, I haven't looked at whether we can shut the water off or not, or whether that's appropriate. I don't know. But
Well,
we
we
need
got
to get,
we got to stop.
he's in violation, he's
gotta
not,
stop
he's in
letting
violation,
it-
and he
it's
needs to get
IDIM.
it fixed. Yeah,
It's IDIM violation.
so we need to get it dealt with. And so far, I've been kind of watching as it kind of evolved. So, yeah, let me look at it, and then
Again,
I'll
I
get
got the council permission to move forward.
do you want me to come back next meeting with the suggestion, or, I mean, I'm looking at you because you're looking at me, that's all.
I know. He talks to me. I'll reach out to him and ask him to reach out to you.
Yeah, let's do that. I'll, in the meantime, I'll look on it.
All of a sudden, it's gone quiet.
We will, pique his interest. Sometimes it takes that, we'll do that.
Well, I'd like to see that letter go out within a week.
Okay.
He doesn't get back to you, it automatically goes. Okay,
Mhm.
there you go. You're walking. Paper.
Within a week.
I'll get a letter out.
He'll take care of it right away. You've outlasted.
Days, 2 weeks, 20 days.
Okay.
They said a week.
Park lease violations, is that in what we've already kind of sort of been discussing? Or do we, no, I don't believe we want at this point to
Well, we
stir
have
Bill up anymore.
now, we've discussed those two, so
Okay.
that's
So
good.
both of these are done.
I think-
Other violations that you want
As
to.
there are violations, I would just suggest get those to me, and then we can we can address them, and I can decide whether we need council action or not, but you just get me the information that I can look at them and write a letter.
Here's the issue. We don't have anyone in place that actually is in charge of leases. Or who actually goes out and monitors the area. It's kind of been up to if Doris sees something, or if Rachel sees something, or if I see something. The neighbors out there don't complain back and forth very much.
Right.
So who becomes, and how do we get to the point that we have a lease police? Does that fall under our town marshal?
Talked about it with Mike, town marshal, a while back when we were putting together code enforcement. And at least in those conversations, he was gonna handle the general nuisances in the town, but not as much, he wasn't as wild about the leases. I don't mind sending letters out because they're different than just ordinance violations. There's lease provisions and ordinance provisions, and I've sent a couple. But what I need is somebody on the ground to verify complaints. If there's a complaint, is it, have they, right,
follow-
have they done anything? Let's say we send a letter, somebody talks to them, have they done anything? And Mike could do that potentially, but, or somebody could, but that's what we need, is somebody to.
I did follow up with Mike after you and I talked about it, as I don't feel that it should be the board's sole responsibility to
Yeah.
monitor this property. And, that you were requesting basically just eyes to report.
Right.
And he was fine with that. And so I think, he will be fine with moving forward, just reporting to you.
Yep.
Then,
So if there's a complaint, and it can come to me and I can reach out to Mike and ask him to look at it and verify it for me or send, and then I can go from there.
Or if he drives and he sees cars sitting
Yeah.
there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
And I
you
can
know, I don't
address
know
it.
what he would do if he sees someone putting a porch up. He's not gonna know.
And well, I go back to the fact too that we don't even have photos of these properties to know when someone does put something up that's not along the trail that I don't see that it was put up last week or if it was put up 2 years ago. I don't know.
Right.
And so I still think we need some documentation of what the properties look like currently so that we have something to stand on if we say, hey, you put a barn up
I mean, I agree.
like yesterday.
I kind of agree with the discussions that we've had recently that somehow at some point we kind of need to evolve the way that you all handle the leases and the properties and kind of take a look at them. But for now, we just need to get in. Because I think there's just a lot about it that is just kind of evolved over time and it's maybe not the best way to handle a situation. You have 106 or 116 of those.
113.
113. Somewhere, it was somewhere in between. Anyway, you know what I think about that.
Is there a company? No, that guy was a lease
I mean, that's
person, and
property.
I know there's other companies out there. I don't want to spend $100,000 for a property manager, because once they get it straightened out,
Right.
it should be fine.
It's very minimal. Yeah.
But how do we get to that next step? Who?
Yeah. We can,
The town doesn't have employees that can do this.
It was just amazing when I drove around, when I had some complaints on the north side of the park. And you went out there and it's like, I've been on this for a long time, Richard, you've been on there long enough and there's new farms that's got the kitchens in them, next to their houses. It's like, I know they've never been in front of this board to say, can I build this? It's not like putting on a small porch, you're replacing one that's gone. They're building major garages,
Yeah.
some's even built two.
and there's nobody, I mean, we've talked about this, some of that's happened in town too, in this part of town. I mean, there's really not been anybody, minding the store so much. I mean, the county's not very active and proactive and running around looking for things. If somebody doesn't complain about it, it probably just goes unnoticed, right?
Unless you're driving out there and,
Yeah.
like Rachel
Right.
said, after
So-
a while, it's like, God, before you ever get out of the park, they're calling you on your phone saying, why are you here taking pictures? Well, it's to protect the neighbors, it's to protect to make sure that it looks nice and it's not like a junkyard. And that's what is happening. No one's paying attention to it.
Back to the question, does the council, in their wisdom,
We
have
don't have
any,
a choice right now.
anything to move forward to try to get this under control? Do we want to hire a person, which I don't know if we've got funds? Do we need to assign to a person, which I don't know if we've got that flexibility? It's good to say we need to document, we need to do this and we need to do that. But we need to know how we're going to do it. And for that, we need ideas. I'm out of them. Without costing us dollars.
Mhm.
To,
Well, I think one thing is, I mean, you have 113
we've talked about
leases.
we've talked about town managers before.
Mhm. You've
And
got,
we can hire someone as a town manager to take over a lot of things. But, again, that's another position. And that's funds. We're not setting real nice with funds, it appears. We may be okay, but I don't know if we want to hire another
I think in some,
$20,000 or $30,000 or $40,000 job.
I think in some respects you are. I think that the leases are, I mean, it probably needs a look of somebody that's more professional in that, because you have all of these leases that are, different rentals based on how long people have been there. Some, as new people come in, they get a newer rate, which is actually still pretty low for a whole year's worth of living. I mean,
Yeah.
it's an odd situation. I mean, there are a lot of these situations out there, so it's not it's not abnormal, but it's different than most. It's where you have the structures, the physical structures built on leased property that the person owns. But those rentals, 113 leases, really probably only, since it's an annual rental, that really only is a thing once a year when you go through the renewal process where you get them all, the renewal papers, but those all go out and the check's got to come back in, but it's not like you're taking in monthly rent. So it's kind of an intermittent thing as far as managing the properties and how they look and everything. I mean, maybe we just kind of will think about that and come up with a plan. But I mean, if you had monthly rent on 113, a property manager might make a little more sense, but you're just collecting rent once a year. I mean, I'll put some more thought into it. I've got it on the list of things from this meeting. But if there are violations that we know of or letters that need to go out, I don't mind I mean, I can send them, we can turn them around, kind of get in a routine of doing it.
Do we need to create a complaint form of some type? Do you have a recommendation for that?
I mean, it could be similar to your code enforcement
We
complaint
have
form.
one. I can send it to you and you can look at it.
Similar to code enforcement complaint form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it is almost the same.
The same form.
Yeah, Mike made it, so I think it's the same. Needs to say.
By the way,
I mean, I think we can start with Mike and,
yeah, I mean, as he's doing his other code enforcement, if he just runs through there and sees if he's.
or maybe recommend starting section at a time too, instead of jumping here, there and everywhere. But start with
And at
doing
some
it.
point, maybe you can get to where you can do what you said, which is do an assessment lot by lot of what's there
Mhm.
and kind of create a baseline that you can then judge going forward. I mean, we just need somebody to figure out how best logistically to do that.
At one point, they talked about taking a picture from the road of each property
Yeah.
and having it in the jacket of the.
And you've got, you also have GIS, Google Earth, Google Maps, there's some fairly recent overhead stuff that we can get and kind of create within the lease files, a picture of what is there, at least as of now. You can go back on Google Earth. You can go back to different years and see what's been there and you can see, something was built.
Do we need to, I mean, send a letter out to them, notifying them we are assessing the properties for lease violation? I mean, don't worry, I'm not going back out and talking to anyone else after that last,
I don't think.
so that won't happen again. But I didn't know if we needed to.
If you get your GIS and whatever you get on that, you could probably come up with a way to incorporate that into,
Well, it would help too, like you said, Mike or someone else is driving around there, having the signs that this is 215 Church Street, because
Right.
the old concrete below.
Yeah, I
that's
asked.
obsolete.
Yeah.
You have no idea who these people are anymore.
I asked if there was a map or anything that showed them all. You probably do have one, but I don't. I look at the list and it doesn't mean a lot to me.
I brought you
Yeah.
a big map.
And I do agree. There's been changes in the lot numbers for somebody who's not. I'm looking back at lease files and get confused, but.
That's the
And
reason.
then
I just
also on
wanted
your
to get
list,
time on
Mr.
one
Dove,
address.
Mr. Dove, I looked his property up on that.
Everybody out there, like in the town of Lynnville, you've got your older people that's moved or they've passed away, so you don't know who the new people are. So they just had a sign up in their yard that this is their address. At least when you went by, you wouldn't be writing up someone that doesn't exist. I would know to look at that lease number.
Gotcha. Mr. Dove's property is on your list as shown as town of Lynnville. That's one of those that's shown as town of Lynnville. I don't know if that has something to do with this.
Sorry.
It shows as town of Lynnville as the lessee.
Oh,
Is that
They all
lot
do.
On his
47,
property. No, it was
lease
not.
lot 47 or lease lot 75? There's two of those lots
Sorry.
that say town of Lynnville, and then it shows the town paying money or something, and I was confused. It's in an I sent a text about that. But I have not heard a response.
Wait,
So Dove, wait a minute, it was.
it was
what
47
was that?
and 75.
Mailing address.
The two that I'm asking
I
about,
was looking at that.
47 and 75.
What'd you say?
I just said the two that I'm asking about is
47.
lots 47 and 75, because it shows that the town's being charged for those two lots.
75 is 433 West State Road 68, which is the fellow that, the one that you said you didn't see his name on the list.
Okay, well, it
That
says
it was on the,
Because
the
they were
agenda
new
tonight.
people,
So
the last time that was up,
Town of Lynnville.
because they were new people, at the time, nobody lived in those when that list was made.
it was that.
That's an old list.
Same
So we need to-
47, we need to update them then.
We do, that's a 2024 list that you have. Both of those were repossessed houses.
I want a new list.
Well, I don't see them anymore.
The town of Lynnville isn't actually paying.
No,
I think it would be
No,
better
I
to show.
think that,
The last
that
person
was,
paid.
that was what the last
It would be
person
better
paid.
to show
Yeah.
those as vacant or unoccupied or unrented right now or
they
something
were
like
in the
that.
process of being
Yeah.
transferred.
But we need a list. So if you're not doing the list, and I get that, who's keeping up with the list and
Over there, park.
park? Okay. So yeah, I mean, we need to figure out who's doing what on these leases.
Okay.
That's her right there.
So does
That's
that-
fine. I'm not, that didn't sound critical, did it? I just,
It
didn't-
did.
it's just, I don't know who's doing what. So I just want to make sure.
She's the least police.
Anything else on leases and park violations?
Yep.
Keep moving. Chris,
I don't.
you got nothing?
But there,
Do you want me to talk during your segment or nowhere else on this?
yeah, if you, yeah, I think,
There.
come on up. We were, I didn't think about you coming down. I was gonna have them introduce it and then, but if you, you all want to, this is Steve Brock.
Yeah.
Did you all want to hear from Steve about the rates or did you want to?
You can tell us, you can do the synopsis of it or the bad news. I think we've all got a copy of it.
Well, I've got
And
a copy here.
And it looks like it was jumping quite a bit.
Unfortunately.
We are live.
So,
We are live and
so we made,
on Memorex. Family people are watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I apologize, Steve. I didn't think about you coming
Oh,
down. I was just gonna get it introduced and then.
Misunderstanding on my part, then I
That's
thought you
okay.
might be down here, so always glad to come down here and see everybody. Pleasant drive.
yeah,
Thank you.
we ought to use 45 minutes.
Just about.
Thank you.
Um, so I can be short and be long. Sometimes people say I'm too short, sometimes people say I'm too long. So, you've been here a while. You want me to give you the quick and dirty?
I would say the quick and dirty is where we want to go on this
Right.
point.
You want to talk about water first or sewage?
They're both sad, so either one.
Let's start with the water. It's a little complicated. A little less complicated. So I'm just going to point out a couple schedules here and talk to you about what my recommendation is and what Chris and I have talked about. I'm going to send you to page 12 first of the water report and just show you that you've lost money for 2024 and 2023 and 2022 and 2021, 2020. Generally, your clerk treasurer would tell you, you lose money 4 or 5 years in a row. It's not an outlier. It's the norm, and it's time to do something. And certainly your utilities, your water and your sewer, the only source of revenue is the utility rates and the money that you bring for the water utility that you bill out has to be spent on the water utility, and the money that you bring from sewage utility has to be some of the sewage utility. You don't mix town funds in, you get money from the utilities of town, so your called a spending budget, what we're coming up with, and got it here, and it's gonna give you the summary, and that's on page 24. And Indiana code, your utilities are regulated by Indiana code, list what they call cash flow requirements. And these are items you include in your spending budget. And for the water, they are operation maintenance taxes, working capital expense and replacement, debt service, existing debt service on the water. And then now all return is what which I use as an inflation provision. So I usually recommend 3-year rates. You don't want to see me every year, unfortunately. So and it's hard to do anything as a projection for 5 or 7 years. I think 3 years is kind of a middle ground. And if you're good in 3 years, you can not do anything. You know, you can your clerk treasurer can generally tell you, hey, we're losing money, or hey, we're making money, and if you're making money, there's no reason to look at rates and charges again. But I also say that spending plan, and the only way you can have a spending plan is you have revenues to match that spending plan. And your revenues are based on the last time you raised rates. So if you haven't raised rates for 5 years, you're working on a spending plan from 5 years ago. And so sometimes it makes sense to update a spending plan. But what we're doing here is I'm looking at your 3-year rates, the general recommend around 3-year rates. And that gives us $277,000 for operation and maintenance, gives us what we call $23,000 for working capital, gives us 23 for extension and replacements. What extension and replacement is a short-term asset replacement. We've got a schedule here. We talked with your, I think your superintendent, Chris, and that we talked to David, your superintendent. He's looked at these numbers. So that gives money for your superintendent to make short-term asset replacements. Always say the operation and maintenance budget is your clerk treasurer's budget, because those are the things that she has to spend out of water for everyday expenses like salaries, wages, utilities, insurance, and the short-term asset replacement, extension replacements is your superintendent's budget, because that gives him money to actually repair items as they wear out. So unfortunately, as we come down here, we're showing a budget for 343,000 total revenue requirements, and you only collected in 2024 205,563. That's why I've been showing a shortfall for the last 4 or 5 years, because your rates just aren't high enough to meet your spending plan. So what we're doing is I'm recommending a 66.97% increase. So what does that mean? If we look back on page 28, that's what it shows a typical residential billing schedule. And we use the Indiana Department of Environmental Management says the typical residential user in Indiana uses 4,000 gallons, and that's, as Lord will tell you, is probably not accurate for Lynnville, probably closer to 3. Would that be right, Lord? Yeah. So 2,700. 2,700, there you go. It's even less than 3,000. So if we look at 4, which is because that's what item tells me to use in the state revolving loan fund and rural development, we're at 44 and be going to 74. But as Lori's telling you, the average bill is going to be less than 3,000. But we look at 3,000, it's currently 36.33 and be going up to 60.66. So that's the recommendation for the 3-year rates. I believe those are the rates, Chris, that we put into the rate ordinance. So what the way that Chris will tell you the process works, we have to introduce a rate ordinance, which you did tonight. Then we have to raise rates. We have to publish a notice one time in newspaper general distribution 10 days prior to that public hearing of a public hearing, and send notice to customers outside the town limits, so they know the public hearing. And then we have the public hearing, we explain the need for the rate increase. You would then close down the public hearing after people had a chance to talk, and then you could have done the ordinance at that point. So we get that done pretty quickly. I probably recommend we get it done pretty quickly. You should have been using 1 or 2 years. And as Lori told you at the very beginning here the total of your utility accounts is negative. And she'll also tell you that State Board of Accounts frowns on having negative balances. So it's not a good thing. It means that you don't have any backup for contingencies. You don't have any funds, because we just haven't been building up for your rates and charges to be able to collect enough money for your utility project. So if that's the water, are there any questions on the water? No.
It has to be there.
Yeah, unfortunately it does. They don't have the option. you can't provide a service. Exactly, you can't provide a service and charge less than it takes you to provide that service, you know, that's not a good option. Rachel, any questions, comments? No? Laura, any questions, comments? No, no, okay, okay. Lori's the one that's gonna be happiest here and unhappiest because she gets to collect the money and she can actually pay her bills now. And she's gonna be unhappiest because as soon as the first bill goes out, everybody's gonna call her and say, make a mistake.
Right.
Um, said that the water works is easiest. We're gonna switch over to sewage works. Why is the sewage works more complicated? The sewage is more complicated because as you saw on your agenda, you've got an agreement with Commonwealth to review your sewage plant and make recommendations that needs to be done to keep it viable and operational and in compliance with item. So that's called a sewer project. Sewer projects are paid for bond issues. We've got an application into the Indiana State Revolving Loan Fund, and I've recommended that we also, to your engineer, that we make a additional application into rural development. Now, why would I make that recommendation? I like the State Revolving Loan Fund. I do most of my finances, the State Revolving Loan Fund, but they only have a 35-year program, and rural development has a 40-year program. So as you know, the difference between your house mortgage, if you've got a 15-year mortgage and a 30-year mortgage, a 30-year mortgage, you're paying less on. So I'm trying to do the lowest impact that you can. Currently, State Revolving Loan Fund is an interesting program. It's a great program, but you don't qualify for their discounted subsidized program, but you do for rural development. So you'd have a lower interest rate from the rural development loan and a longer loan term, and the ability to possibly get grant money from rural development, which would help keep your the impact lower. So I'm showing you two things in the sewer works. I'm showing you what you need currently to make Lori happy so she can pay her bills, and so we can have a race that will fund our current spending plan. But I'm also showing you what's going to happen in the future, so you'll know if we issue this bond issue to pay for the work that you have to have for your sewage works, there's going to be an additional increase. So that next one won't probably happen until next year, and maybe even longer than that, depending on how long it gets to get a offer back from rural development. So that's something you have to discuss with your engineer, how quickly I'm going to move forward with that project. I'm going to give you some idea of what would happen with that also. So I'm going to do the same thing I did last time on water. I'm going to take you to page 9, and I'm going to show you that you lost money in 2024, 2023, 2022. You made money, but only because you got your Spurgeon project in there, and you lost money in 2021. So I'm going to shoot you our budget, and that would be page 27. And here, instead of showing you, I'm just showing you break-even rates and 3-year rates, but I'm showing you without the project and with the project. That you've been talking with your engineer, Commonwealth about. So again, I always told you that I recommend the 3-year rates because a break-in rate, those rates are gonna be stale due to inflation after the current year, and you're gonna have to, start losing money again in the first year. 3-year rates, you got a little amount built in for inflation. 3-year rates, we're looking at a 60% rate increase, 60%. But then with project, we look at the debt service on a future project, it would be 98%. So what does that mean on rates and charges? I'm gonna shoot you to page 31.
Hold on.
No, but I'm gonna stay on the sewage rates, as Lori will tell you, always higher than water rates. And your sewage rates are on the high end of what I'm seeing now, but they aren't the highest that I've seen. But you're gonna be close after the project, and these are based on state revolving loan fund, which is why I recommended that we look at rural development. So I want to get these rates down further on the second phase, and so that's why we recommend a rural development financing. So as you talk to your engineer and in your future meetings, and you talk about rural development, that's the reason we want to go to rural development and do the additional application so that we can reduce the rate impact on on your sewer project in the future. Right now, what we'd like to do is raise rates and charges to the point that, you can cash flow your current spending plan. And that would mean that at 3,000 gallons, they're currently paying 65.49, and that would go up to 104.97 on a monthly basis. So I'll also tell you something Laura will probably tell you, and that is it's called elasticity of demand. It's a great little phrase, isn't it? Elasticity of demand. It just means that when people are paying money for something, they use less of it. Okay. So what I usually see in rate increases is like on water and sewer is that after a rate increase, people use less. They suddenly realize that, every time that faucet's on, it's costs them money and they use less. And sometimes that's not permanent, but it's not permanent because people just like to use water. And again, your water consumption is also used for your sewer, but you may see a dip the first couple of months, and then we'll have to see if it's going to be consistent or not. If Lori's telling me your average bill here is your consumption is 2,700, that's pretty low. I always like to cite Greenwood and Carmel and around Indianapolis suburbs, and they use about 10,000 gallons on an average for a residential user, where the state of Indiana says that 4,000 is typical. And Lori's telling you that here in town you use 2,700. I also say that most places in the state you can go get 100 gallons of water, certified potable to the state and delivered to your door and your tap for about $1. Water is really, really cheap. We just use a lot of it. People like to use a lot of water, but they may use less after the rate increase. And but generally that's a dip that doesn't last. People get tired of trying to conserve water. Some of the permanent things they can do, tell Lori and tell the council this, if people complain about a water rate increase. I've got a little PDF, 2 or 3 pages I can send you. It you print off and hand out. It's pretty easy thing, low usage on your power head, your faucets and toilets that use less. And so when you get complaints or things we can talk to people about. But basically, there's not a whole lot you can do. So again, it's supposed to tell you the rates that we included in the rate ordinance or the rates for the 3-year rates. And that'd be from 65 to about 104. Or State Rachel, any questions on that? Any comments?
It's gonna be a whole lot or less motorcycle in my house. Right now.
This is just like when the gas prices went up a couple years ago, people watched where they were driving.
Yes.
That's just what's gonna happen. And people have to realize that we are not the ones that's building that. The government comes in and said, you're gonna build a machine to you don't have a choice.
That's exactly right.
No,
No
and they want quality water, you gotta make sure that power is maintained, and it's just like.
Yeah, there are 2 other things I think you should make sure your residents understand, and that is that one, you're paying the same bill everybody else does. That's the first thing the state board of accounts does when they come in. Not make sure the council members are paying the bills. And the second thing is state statute, all money collected from your water utility has to be spent on the water utility, doesn't go anyplace else. And you're losing money, so that means you're spending more money in the water utility. And you're collecting. Same with the sewer, all the money that comes in the sewer utility has to be spent on sewer utility items. So it's not like the money's going anyplace else. The town, not getting off, not playing for vacation for you guys in Bahamas, it's not, it's being spent to be able to provide the service that they're paying for. And the other thing people ask you is also, what's everybody else paying? And I can do that. I can do schedule for you, show what surrounding towns are paying. But I also tell people that, in my opinion, it's like comparing your car payment to your neighbor's car payment. Now, there's a difference there. You might be driving a Cadillac, you might be driving an economy car, you might have a new car, you might have an old car, you might have a worse credit rating, and you get a better credit rating. So there's just so many factors that go into a car payment, and there's just so many factors that go into a utility payment. These rates what it takes for you to provide utility service to your customers. And just like that car payment, so basically get that car in your driveway, and it's different for everybody. And so it's different for every town also. So everybody likes to know what everybody else is paying, but, it doesn't really make a difference because that's what it takes here.
But I will have to say, I did my research about a year ago when we started this whole process. And I did all the area towns, the ones, and I could find information on the majority of them. The majority of them have an $80 a month water sewer minimum.
Mhm.
That is
Yeah.
across the board.
Yeah.
And some of them were even a little bit higher.
These are the highest
So-
rates I've seen, even after your project, your rates before are fairly typical. It's just, and you're right, the government's one, the item, the Department of Mines, the state branch of EPA.
It's also function of timing a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting caught up. You're not unlike other communities that, facing the same thing. And so some of those are coming. They're just not, if you looked at their current rate, it's lower, but trust me, their rates are going up soon because everybody's, I mean, if you looked at you guys, were on that SRF approved, the project rating list, you can see what all of those communities are looking at in terms of rates with their projects. Some of those will get some grant money and buy that down, but some of them may be a little inflated. But small utilities, small towns are all dealing with the same thing. Costs are going up, and
So-
that's just the way it is.
The one thing too that I think we're gonna need to remind a few people in this town is what doesn't reflect these rates is, the Spurgeon sewer line was
Mhm.
completely funded by Spurgeon.
Yep.
Had no reflection on these rates whatsoever. We did not pay for that. We do get some income off of it, but, and sometimes I don't think people understand that your utilities and your tax dollars are separate. These rates do not reflect that Main Street.
Right.
Or any improvement at the park. It's not all one big pool, and I think we need to make sure we kind of get that out there, because it can, when you're finishing up big projects here, and then all of a sudden your water sewer rates go up, it can be an assumption.
Yeah.
That
They're
they're tied together, but they're not.
We got all kinds of flack whenever we built one of the sewer plants, and all they had to do is we had the guys working there take pictures. It didn't matter if it was a bolt or what. That rust, just like your cars do, and they have to be replaced. And once you show some of the people those pictures, it's like, okay, I understand. And it's not us, again, it's the government that comes in, because we have all those tests. That's why you have Brian and them to run all those tests. The government says this is what you're gonna do. And a lot of it also had to do with building a new school out here. We had more people coming in, we had the Dollar General and stuff, so we had to have more capacity. And once you kind of explain, it helped.
Nobody likes it, but it's a necessary. David, you want to say something? What do you want to say?
I'm looking for an adjournment.
He's ready to go.
I can't say that yet. No, I appreciate you coming down here and giving us this.
Yeah.
It is the quick and dirty on it. I understand that. But that's all we need.
Okay.
We got to move forward. We don't have a choice. We will move forward, and we'll probably need you back down here again
You tell me when.
when
I'd
that,
love to be
when
there.
that meet, when that
Do what
public
you did.
meeting is.
Yeah. I like to attend the public meetings and to keep the heat off you guys. And
We'll have a town marshal there.
Once you
No.
do out next
Yeah.
time.
Right.
But, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Well,
We
and that's
do
the point.
appreciate it.
And that's the point. And that's another reason it always helps to have, if Steve comes down, I'll be here, but facts are facts. You can state the facts. I mean, like you said, it is what it is, and we just can explain why it is. And it's a function of math and a small customer base. There's a lot less
Yeah.
flexibility you have to spread things out,
Federal
right?
requirements and state requirements. If I can leave one thought with you, it's the importance of applying your rural development on your sewer project. That's the one thing that it can make a difference in saving money. We qualify for a lower interest rate, longer loan term, and grant money from rural development, and we don't put any of that state revolving loan fund. So I always call the state revolving loan fund the short program, And we're on with a long program, but we need to go to the long program to try to reduce our rate
I
impact.
think Aaron's
Still talking with Aaron?
I think Aaron's on that. Of
Yeah.
course, you know, as you know, Aaron, Commonwealth, Craig McGowan now works at Commonwealth. He was your rural development guy, so he now works at Commonwealth. I don't know all the details about the transition at rural development, but, you know, Craig can help, with that.
Well,
So,
we're gonna move forward. That's all we can do.
Yeah.
Thank you. Drive
Thank
safely when you
Yes,
go
sir.
back.
Thank you.
I'm glad they got that road all the way through, the town right before you. I drove up there the other day. Pretty nice.
Yeah.
Okay, we are at, back to Chris. You have anything else to add, Chris?
no,
You got a lot of notes.
Got a
You
list.
a lot of to-do lists, and you're gonna get those
I
done
keep
tomorrow.
saying I'm gonna type up my list of, and send it to you, just to remind you of all the things I have on my list I'm trying to work through. I've looked at I've looked at the credit card policy stuff, and I'm working on that. Your ordinance on credit cards isn't too far off of where it needs to be. You have an ordinance that, you know, but, we can work on that. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
nothing more.
Thank you for being brief, Chris. Lori, budget preparation, you wanna talk about any of this? Is this just notations?
Those are just things that were done for your list. Like
So the
things
top-
that I did.
The top 7.
Yeah. There are two things that I did want to bring up. For the should I get my names up? For the your annual spending for the
Oh,
redevelopment is due January 1st. I just want to remind you that. And then on the agenda, which will be on the minutes too, there was some extra stuff added, disclosures and stuff. I brought, if anyone didn't see it, the act telling us to add that stuff.
for example,
For
I
example,
saw-
for example, we have to put on who the council members are.
bottom of your agenda, you now have to put on your agenda the board members and and if you had a board like, park board or something, they would have to show who appointed them and when their term is up and all of that stuff. So that's on there.
But yeah, and then it shows the IC code.
Yeah.
And then I brought the actual copy of the bill. And I think, did I put the opioid on there? Yeah, I got the rest of it on there. I didn't know if I got the opioid has already been reported.
And I asked for a report on the monthly interest rates being earned on town money.
It is sitting right next to you.
It is sitting right next to me.
Mm-hmm. In a binder.
Give me a hint.
It's in a bind. It's a big binder clip.
Big binder clip.
Right there.
This one,
Yep.
you added it to that?
Yeah, they're all in there. Every single one.
Well, that's why the question came up. Because as I was looking through here, it has, for instance, business money market, 3.04%. It should be 3.8%. It has various numbers on different accounts that aren't what we moved and agreed with LNB Bank to be done. And I guess I'm wondering why we're not catching that when we get these statements and why that question hasn't been asked to the bank. And I will go further and say, I have asked that question to the bank a couple of days ago, and they are going to go back and correct them because we were not getting our interest.
Okay. When I asked the last time, they said it depended on as the fluctuating deposits I don't know. Last time you told me to ask, that's what I said, something about fluctuating deposits.
I think maybe we just need to pay a little more attention to the bank statements, because I had them remove $60 worth of bank service charges off the community center account because it had gone below a certain rate, but all I had to do was pick up the phone and call them, and they removed that.
Okay. When I asked about it originally, they told me it was because it went below 10,000. I'd asked about it, and they told me why it was on there.
They took care of them right there for me. So
You can ask, then you have to ask that next question. Well, what do we do to get this corrected?
because the other option would have been to actually just to change to a different kind of account, and it was easier to remove the service charges than change us over. So
And I'm going to talk to the bank again and see about the fluctuation. I don't believe we agreed to any type of fluctuation with them. I believe it was basically that number. And if they're going to change a rate, they need to notify us. They can't just do that. Because we're losing money. So I've asked them to go back and correct all that and reimburse us. So we should be getting some form of that coming in. Bottom line is we need to look at things when they come in. Report on the percentage of hours worked that I've been asking for. Have you got anything yet on that?
I actually have handwritten some to add to the list I gave you at last meeting. But I'm just writing them as I'm doing the stuff or as it comes up.
Does it look like the percentage of hours are gonna still stay where they were?
It's
Or
actually
is that going to make it worse, make it better? Where are we going with it? We need to know how much.
It's gonna be the same. I'm actually, from what I've done so far on my list, I do more because of the bonds and of the water or the wastewater bonds and transfer. I actually do more for the utilities than any other. Well,
And if that,
town is a little bit more, but
yeah, and if that's true, it's true. It is,
Yeah.
again, it goes back to, it is what it is.
Mhm.
But I gotta have a number that I can justify to move forward in these rates, because I certainly don't want to get beat up later that someone says, well, da, 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 and we look at it and go, well,
Yeah.
we
I've-
overcharged.
as I've been doing stuff, I've been writing it down. I forgot to bring it out here. It's sitting next to my computer. I have it right there so that I can write stuff down. But it's all handwritten.
Just as long as I get something. I don't want to be ignored, just as long as I get something here. And I'll check with you next week. See where we are. Credit cards, we've talked about that a little bit. We found out that one was an old card. We have now been told that we can't do kind of sort of what I thought we were trying to do with credit cards. Is that?
Kind of sort of what you thought.
We can't have a card issued by L&B Bank. And I'm looking at you, that says Town of Lynnville, Dave Goldenberg.
she said they can't have cards tied to the account.
Debit cards, like where it comes out directly. And that's that paper that I just gave you.
It can be a credit card.
Yeah, credit card.
Credit card.
So we can give employees credit cards.
Credit cards,
You
yeah.
can assign it in a policy. You can say who,
And maybe we're talking semantics differently, where I'm saying charge to an account. That credit card will go back against their account. They'll know that's how you're paying. I got it. Never mind.
We can have-
I'm talking a little different.
you can have cards issued.
Mhm.
Your policy, your current ordinance says department heads
So
authorized to have credit cards, and then they've got to keep track of you. Not every employee should have a credit card. They should probably be managed by department heads. But that's,
do those have to be locked up?
According to Tony from
This-
State Board of
this
Accounts,
is the
they're
outside
supposed to
Chris.
be locked up with
I
a
can't believe it.
log.
I don't see anything in the policies that say locked
She
up.
wrote it down.
You see it says locked up.
It says,
This is accounted for, that's okay.
no,
That's
she
different.
used.
And I looked at it today. I didn't see anything that
Used
said
some word.
locked up, but
It didn't say locked, it said, put together or put,
Doesn't say.
I forgot what the actual wording was.
we need to
But
get
they
that.
weren't supposed to
I-
bring them in they're not supposed to bring them in their wallets. They're supposed to, like, carry them around in their wallets.
Yeah, I cannot believe that that's a law. It can be. There's a lot of things that Indiana says.
Okay.
I'm not arguing with you on that. I was saying, Chris, can you look at it and make sure?
Yeah,
Because I want a credit card that says Town of Lynnville, Rachel Titzer. A credit card that says Town of Lynnville, Doris Horn. A credit, well, you know, when you're going out to buy this stuff,
Yeah.
I don't have to wait.
you know, we don't have to come in and try to find cards and check them in, check them out. And, you know, if you overstate your boundaries with it, we'll take into account if town meeting will ceremoniously cut it in half.
Oh,
And along with Brian Cook.
It's gotta be returned to the custody of the responsible person, but that can be.
yeah, it's the log part.
That's something you guys can work out later if you can do that. Let's keep this credit card thing up and going. That should, so that'll just help us out.
They're there, they just have to do their part.
Waiting for the sidebar to stop. Bonds. We have a listing of any current bonds that are out there now. And if we got issues with any of them, are they all up to date? Do we have to do something with any of them soon? Is there a time frame so something doesn't sneak up on us?
We just have the bonds we've had the last bond we got was in 2021, I think, but we haven't had any since then.
Yeah.
Except for your, redevelopment. Yeah, I'm sorry, redevelopment, I didn't put that in there because I don't.
Okay, and then as I was thumbing through this thing here, again, I found something about a lost bond. What happened there? And $50,000 bond looks like it got lost and they had to reissue. That makes sense.
No, I don't know what that is.
That's what that is. Looks like it was time to redeem it maybe, and we couldn't find it.
Oh, no, it redeemed and went into that account you opened up. The money market.
What, I guess, how did we lose the documents?
Something, I don't.
The
The way I read it was that they had to reissue, redo something because it was law, the bond
Certificate of deposit. Don't see anything about bonds, it's
or
CD.
maybe it's certificate of deposit.
And that one was way before I was here, so I have no idea anything about that.
Are we paying interest on those things or maintaining interest on those when they come? Should we not have something active on that at all times?
Not follow totally what we're talking about. Trying.
It was I can tell you what it is. It was the when you maybe this is where it's getting mixed up. So it's the reserve for the bond. So it's like 1 year's payment. You have to keep 1 year's payment of the bond payments. And it's called the reserve. And it was in a CD, but when you got the better rate for the money market, when it came due, I just moved it to the money market.
Get out of the CD.
Yeah, got it out of the CD and put it in the money market because it was only getting like 0.75. But nothing.
So
Yeah.
it didn't have to stay as a
No.
CD then.
No, it just has to be.
in
You
the
can't.
bank.
Yeah, you can't touch it. You can't spend it.
Okay.
We have to count for it.
Right.
So this affidavit just allows you to redeem it and take the money and put it in something else.
Yeah.
Okay. Upcoming. Maybe anything else that you, Lori? You want to talk about?
I will be in training on the 9th.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's been on there for a couple months. But other than that.
That's the 9th through the 15th, and that's a conference, and they're tying it into
State Board of
the
Accounts.
state
Cool.
so there's actually kind of two conferences going on.
Correct.
And have we got information? You have information showing it in here?
Yeah.
Showing what it is and why it's being done that way. Are both of those mandatory?
Are both of what, I'm sorry?
Mandatory? Or?
Yeah. Yeah, that's and I did put, in your paperwork, from the State Board of Accounts saying it's state called. The letter saying it's state called
So you will be out of town.
will be.
So during that week, if we have clerk treasurer questions, how are they handled? And is there any meetings during that time?
Well, it's next week, so there shouldn't be.
9th through the 15th is next week. Okay.
Yeah.
You never
unless
know.
David.
You never
calls.
know with you, David.
You never know.
We might have 6 next week.
Yeah, then we wouldn't be going 2 hours tonight. Okay. I just want to make sure that we're covered here during that time. And anything that needs to be done, if there's any bills that need to be paid, they're paid on time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay.
I've got my list going of, which is actually sitting right there for you guys to review
Okay.
of anything that comes due. Well, any of the regular bills that come due.
Doris, you got anything?
No, I'm fine.
Rachel?
Nope.
Okay. That brings it back to me. Where are those papers? I will entertain the business on the floor. We don't have to say anything about it. Next meeting's August 19th. I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
7:58. Meeting's adjourned. And once she turns everything on, then we need to sit here and figure out what we gotta sign.
Yeah.
I'm getting tired.
I know.
You push that one button on that time. I don't know if that's anything or not.